first, just want to ask about if you can tell us anything about the availability report. We saw Lynn wasn't training today. If she might be out, and then if there are any players who might be on minutes restrictions.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Lynn won't be available tomorrow. Who else? Everyone else has got a few little niggles here and there, but nothing major. Yeah, Lynn's the only one really that we're worried about.
And then in terms of Gotham, they had quite a few changes in the off-season. How have you sort of gone about, I guess, scouting them, knowing that they've had quite a few personnel changes, and what are you expecting to see from them this weekend?
We're very good at getting film. Yeah, we've managed to be able to see quite a lot of their pre-season games, even ones in Spain. And again, no one really knows if that means it's going to translate into tomorrow, but we've had a pretty good idea of what they've been trying to do. So, we're looking forward to it.
Hi, Laura. I wanted to ask,
Great shirt.
like, thank you. 2 times in a row. It's so nice of you. In 2022 and 2023, it seemed like the team had a kind of late surge, and sometimes the players would talk about reading in the media that media was doubting they were making the playoffs, and it seems like that really motivated the team. And after last season, it seems like a lot of people are questioning the Reign this year in terms of playoff contentions. I wonder if that feels like an identity of the team that they can get behind in terms of proving people wrong and wanting to prove something.
Yeah, I think that stems back to year one, to be honest. I think, we had that really awful first year, and ever since then it's been about proving everyone wrong. So I think that's just been instilled in the group every single year, and we hope that we never have to have a year like we did last year, but if we can replicate what happened post year one, then I'll be more than happy with that response.
Hey Laura, I wonder if you could share a little bit kind of what goals you've kind of laid out for the team this year, things you want to see improved in particular to kind of overcome the challenges that you had last year.
Yeah, being honest, outside of the goals that I'm sure every team in this league write down, get in the playoffs, win the Shield, get in the championship, they've created their own. Just things that I think if you can achieve them, those 3 things will take care of themselves at the end of it. So, it's not been me giving it to them. It's been them, trying to look at some things that they have in their control that if you do right, results should take care of themselves. So, we've definitely had a reflective off-season, I would say. A active off-season in regards to staffing and, obviously some player recruitment, and just overall as a club trying to decide what our long-term goals look like, not just for today, but for a long time to come. So I think the players have embraced that. And I'm really glad that we put it on them to create some goals, because if it's me giving it to them, I don't think it's as impactful or powerful as them creating their own that they want to hold themselves accountable to. So, yeah, I'm not going to give away what they all are, but the biggest 3 outcome goals that you want at any season is to try and get all of those 3, And we've been lucky enough as a club that we've either got them or been competing for them every single season. So we know that it's something that we can definitely go out to achieve. So yeah, we're excited to try and knock some of our immediate goals off, put ticks in the boxes of some of them tomorrow.
Hey, Laura. We just heard from Maddie. Obviously, just wanted to ask you about your defensive depth. I know you've got some defenders that still need to join you later in the season, but just about that group, adding her, Emily Mason, just that defensive depth.
Yeah, I think not necessarily just about depth either. I think just profile of those players matches what we want to look like long term. I think a little bit of athleticism, the willingness to go forward, be really comfortable on the ball, all those things. Those guys fit that profile. So we were really happy that we were able to bring both of them in. I think you need depth in this league. You need it. So I wish that you could play the same 11 every week and everything be fine, but unfortunately it's too difficult. So having the ability to mix it up, having the ability to rotate, having the ability that if someone's not available, you've got ready-made options to replace them with, is what I think you need for every season. But I feel like we've got a really good roster in regards to that this year in pretty much every position.
Hey there, Lee Callahan, Goal Power Productions.
How you doing?
Hey, good. So maybe you can take us inside the mind of a professional athlete, Lynn in particular. Mm-hmm. And does she talk to you about what it's like to face last year's team again on your season opener? Is that something that needs to be addressed, or that you do talk about it?
Not really. I think she's obviously really disappointed that she can't be on the field to really face them. But that's professional sport. I think that you do come up against teams that you've either been a part of, and for Lynn, she's got a couple in the league now that she's going to come up against, or teams that you sort of circle at the start of the season in relation to wanting to right a wrong from the previous year. And I think Gotham sit into that for us as a team. Obviously from the 23 championship game, we haven't beaten them since then. So I think we need to make sure that we right some wrongs in regards to last season. And obviously we wish Lynn was available to be able to right her own wrongs too. But I'm sure for each athlete it's different, but Lynn was disappointed to not be available, but more about the fact that, it's our first game of the season in regards to that and not in relation to who we're actually playing.
Laura, to keep with Lynn, we learned that she's got a contract now through 2027. Can you speak at all on being able to have her, for a few more years now?
I mean, I've known about this for a long time. So, when I don't know how, it basically slipped through the cracks that it wasn't known to everybody. But when we were trading for her, that was a big part of what we wanted. It wasn't to have someone for 1 year. It was to have someone longer than that. And it wasn't like she turned up and then committed to the project. She turned up already committed to the project. So I think that says a lot about, one, who she is, two, what we were selling her, on the project. But obviously she met me, turned up, and then decided she was now. But having someone like Lynn and knowing that she's here for a few years from now is exciting, because the CBA and the way in which contracts are set up now, it doesn't necessarily lend to that long-termness too much. For the players to be able to get into free agency is obviously a big deal for them. But for someone to commit to multiple years with a club that she'd never played for, I think says a lot about who we are.
And I wanted to make sure I got that, because I didn't remember seeing that anywhere else. And then with the roster coming out, Sofia Cedeno, with that loan, can you speak further on that decision to have her go on loan and what you guys might have seen from her in the preseason?
Yeah, Soph actually trained with us last year too. I think the whole youth movement, if you want to call it that, is evolving, right? And I think for me, you have to decide in regards to the player, are they ready to come in now and play minutes? Because she's definitely ready to play at professional level, in my opinion. If the answer is we're not sure she's going to get many minutes this year, then I think getting people out on loan so that they can play is a vital part of development. And for some, that can come immediately. For Soph, obviously, that's what we're looking to try and do. For others, it may come in a different way, right? Like Sam Mazer went out last year, came back. Ainsley and Emery haven't gone out anywhere yet. I don't know if we see that in their future, but there could be, if minutes become less and less for any player, having the ability to loan people out to get their minutes if you think that they have a long-term future with you, I think is a good strategy to highlight talent early. get hold of them early, because now it's free agency, so everyone's got to go out and get them the way they want, and then know that we're committed to someone long term, or we want to see what their commitment looks like long term, so that we can get them playing, get them out in the field. I think that's the most important part for her right now.
We'll take one more from Bella, and then we'll quickly check Zoom.
Can I have 2 more? Because, okay.
So
Well,
needy,
you said a thing,
Bella.
and then it made you think of another thing. You mentioned minutes, and we had talked to you on the first day of preseason. You had talked about, sort of giving Ainsley in particular the chance to play, otherwise you wouldn't really know what she was capable of. Now that you've seen her through preseason, what are you thinking about her role on the team this season, and how much we might see her?
Yeah, I think, again, it's development, right? It's see where she's at, and she's not that far away. She's developing all the time. She's just got real good competition, which is fine, right? And, I think Haz is coming into the biggest 6 months of her life. So it makes total sense that Haz and Olo, who's obviously coming back from last year, are going to be in, like you would hope, in a really good place to push Ainsley. And I think the biggest part for our job is to say, is it Ainsley not developing, or is it that these guys are pushing her as far as they can possibly push her? And right now, that's where it sits, which is exciting, because now it means that everyone's pushing each other, which is exactly what we want. If Ainsley gets on the field, we want her to know, or she wants to know, that she's earned it and she deserves it, and she's not just getting it because other people aren't performing, So I think the answer is that I don't know what that's going to look like, but I know that right now, the competition for places is really high because of the standard that people are putting out in training every day, and Ainsley's included in that.
And then my other question that I was going to ask before, we had talked a bit, again, first day of preseason, about the attack and the options you had. Now that you've had the preseason, and obviously Lynn's not available, but what sort of thing do you think fans can expect to see from the attack this season, especially considering the struggle to score goals last season?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have heard me say this a lot. I think there was periods of last season where we created really good chances and we didn't score. So I think right now, the focus of the group and the focus for the staff is we have to create chances. And we believe that we've put in a lot of work on either recruiting people who can put that in the net, or challenging the people that have been here to put those chances in the net. For me right now, where we're at, let's just create chances. If we're coming off tomorrow and we've not created a ton of chances and we've taken one, I'll probably be happy in the moment, but I probably won't be as happy as if that keeps going, because I know that in this league, you've got to create multiple chances. So right now, I think that's where my mindset is. I want us to get in positions where we're creating more and more. So the things that we've done to help that is I think you heard from Maddie, give them a bit more freedom to go, and make sure that we can really push to try and create really quality high chances as much as possible, and then we can start demanding that people score them if we're not.
All right, last call for questions on Zoom. If you have a question, please raise your hand.
You won't be able to see it, Roy, because of the OK, but you won't be able to see it.
No, I'll be able to see it. It'll pop up next to their name. Any questions on Zoom? All right, we're going to take one more here from Susie, and then we'll wrap up.
Laura, I was wondering if you could just share a little bit more about Lynn's injury and kind of timeline, if it's kind of like a day-to-day or not.
Yeah, it's probably day-to-day. Yeah, it's day-to-day, I would say. It's not, we touch wood, we don't think it's long-term. It happened last week, so yeah, we're probably at a point now where it's day-to-day. I think the moment it happened, we knew that this was probably out of the question. It was slightly too soon, but we're hoping that she seems to be turning a corner, which is great, and getting closer and closer to being back with the group.